So let's talk about IRA conversions. What are they and why you might want to consider them for your IRA? First of all, when we're talking about an IRA conversion, what we're talking about is taking a pre-tax traditional IRA and recharacterizing it or converting it to a Roth IRA. Doesn't mean you have to transfer accounts or liquidate all your positions or holdings. The underlying investments can and should be able to remain the same, and you can keep your IRA right where it's at. We're just talking about changing from a traditional to a Roth. So what's the difference between traditional IRAs and Roth IRAs? Well, number one, with a traditional IRA, those are considered pre-tax accounts. Those are typically funded with pre-tax deductible contributions, so no taxes has been paid yet. Number two, in the future, when you do take money out, you do make withdrawals from a traditional IRA, that's when you pay the taxes. So you get a 1099 at the end of the year for all the money you've taken out of a traditional IRA, and you pay taxes at ordinary income rates. Number three, with a traditional IRA, those are subject to forced distributions beginning at age 73. And those forced distributions are known as RMDs, or required minimum distributions by the government. Now with the Roth IRA, those are funded with after-tax dollars. So you've already paid the taxes on the money that you've put in. Number two, those dollars, when they do come out of a Roth in the future, you get those entirely income tax free. And number three, Roth IRAs are not subject to required minimum distributions or forced distributions. So you can leave a Roth IRA grow for your entire lifetime untouched. There's another key difference between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA, and it has to do with legacy planning or inheritance planning. Because with a Roth IRA, when dollars are left to non-spousal beneficiaries, meaning not your spouse, but maybe your kids, they have the option to allow those dollars to continue to grow income tax free in an inherited Roth IRA for up to 10 years without being subject to required minimum distributions. And at the end of 10 years, all that money is still tax free, so they could take out that money 10 years later after death, income tax free. And that could be very powerful. When you exercise an IRA conversion, you pay the income taxes on the amount converted that year. For example, if you converted $10,000 from your traditional IRA to a Roth in tax year 2024, you'd receive a 1099-R for that year, and you would include that $10,000 in taxable income when you file your income taxes next year. However, once that $10,000 is inside your Roth IRA, it will remain there income tax free for the rest of your life, and under the new Secure 2.0 rules, like we talked about, even 10 years beyond to your beneficiaries, all growing income tax free. One thing I think that's important to remember is a traditional IRA is like a ticking tax time bomb that's only going to grow bigger and bigger as time goes on. And an IRA conversion to a Roth is kind of like a bet. It's a bet on where you think future tax rates are going to go, and more specifically where yours are going to go. So if you think your specific tax bracket or tax rate will be the same or higher in the future, then a Roth IRA conversion pays off. And that might actually be a good bet. Where do you think income tax rates are going to be? When you look at what's going on with our budget deficit, our national debt, Congress is pretty much running on credit card. We're borrowing money to pay our bills. And at some point, that bill is going to have to be paid. And I'm not sure who would want to be stuck in the crosshairs when that day comes. So who's eligible for an IRA conversion? Right now, anyone, regardless of income or age. And let me talk now about who really should consider it and who may not want to consider it. Number one, who should consider it? If you believe that your tax bracket will be the same or higher in retirement, you should consider it. If you want to maximize your estate for your heirs, you may consider it. If your accounts are not tax diversified by tax treatment, and what I mean by that is if most of your assets are in tax deferred accounts like traditional IRAs, by converting to a Roth IRA, you'll have assets available that won't be taxed when they're withdrawn, and that could potentially allow you to better manage your tax brackets in retirement and do better tax planning in the future. Now, for some people, sticking with a traditional IRA or other tax deferred accounts might be a better strategy in the following situations. Number one, you need to use your traditional IRA soon for living expenses. So money that you'll need soon might not be a good candidate for conversion because those assets may not have a long time to recoup the taxes that you're going to have to pay on conversion. Number two, you don't have any after-tax money or assets on hand to pay the taxes on conversion. So the ideal option to pay taxes is with after-tax, either cash or assets that you have on hand to pay the taxes on that conversion. Number three, you plan to give a substantial amount of your traditional IRA to charity. Maybe you're using the Qualified Charitable Distribution, QCD. So some retirees use this strategy to satisfy their annual required minimum distribution without creating any additional taxable income. So in this case, converting to a Roth IRA could be counterproductive because you wouldn't really avoid taxes as you would with just using the Qualified Charitable Distribution. So remember, if you don't do a conversion, the tax problem doesn't go away. It's not like you're saving money on taxes because this tax on these assets will be paid. It's not if, but when. And the foundation of much good tax planning is always pay taxes when the tax rates are the lowest. And I believe for many people, not everybody, everybody's different, but for many people, that time's right now. We're actually in one of the historically lowest tax brackets right now that many people will see in their lifetime. And that's only going to continue for this year, next year. So that's 24 and 25. And that's when tax brackets and tax rates are slated to go up. In the long term, however, I believe that Congress is going to have to raise taxes, especially on people with the largest incomes and have large IRA balances. So not converting doesn't mean the problem goes away because the IRA continues to grow. And then you'll be on what's called the government plan. That is forced distributions at age 73. And at that time, you're no longer in control. And by converting, you can control your taxes each year. Remember, your IRA is kind of like an IOU to the IRS. And also, the decision to convert to a Roth doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can be divided up into a series of smaller conversions. And many people find that maintaining a balance between Roth IRAs and pre-tax traditional IRAs or 401ks is the optimal solution for them. So let's take a look at an example and see how powerful a Roth conversion may or may not be. Here we have a typical retiree, John Sample. He's retired, age 66. He has no debt. He has 3 adult children, and we're going to plan his mortality out to age 90. So here's his balance sheet. He has $100,000 in the bank, as you can see. He's got a $250,000 brokerage account. He's got $1 million IRA, and that was $1 million 401k rollover. So his total investment net worth or investment assets are $1.35 million. So here we have John's current income of $63,000 per year. And we see he'll be taking that dollar amount each year, and that consists of Social Security plus any other income he has. And take a look down here at age 73, we have additional income of $56,000 per year. Now what is that? That's his required minimum distribution that kicks in. And that's from his IRA balance. And you see that bumps his total income up to $136,000 per year. And remember, required minimum distributions on IRAs have not been taxed yet. So that's all pre-tax money. So we're looking way down here, well, many years into the future, and we have no idea what those tax rates will be. So he'll be taxed on that additional $56,000 at the prevailing income tax brackets at the time. So we took a look at, well, what if we implemented a Roth conversion program? How would that impact John's after-tax income and assets at that time and potentially his heirs? So let's take a look. So here we have the results of comparing John's current plan versus a proposed strategy including Roth conversions. And in this hypothetical example, we're able to dial in and request exactly how much in Roth conversion amounts we want to see. And in this case, we requested that we want to take Roth conversions to fill up his 22% tax bracket. In other words, we do not want to take a conversions and exceed that 22% tax bracket. Just give us the recommended dollar amount that will hit that ceiling. And in this scenario, by doing that, we're seeing that John would be able to leave an additional $273,000 more in tax-adjusted ending portfolio value than if he had not done a Roth conversion program. And that's pretty powerful. And remember, we're assuming that his heirs also have a 22% tax bracket. If in fact in the future their tax bracket was higher or tax rates just went up in general, then this number would be even higher. And we're able to give some specific recommendations on how to do this each and every year. Let's take a look. So what we see here is a specific recommended plan of action in our hypothetical scenario for Mr. Sample. What it shows is at age 66, a recommended conversion amount of $53,775. And it shows that we've also added a Roth IRA column to our balance sheet, and that's the tax-free account balance. So in our scenario, we're showing that each year we're able to provide specific recommendation of how much to convert to remain within that 22% tax bracket without going over. And we also see down here at age 73, there's a reduction in the conversion amount. Well, why is there a reduction? Well, this is the year, remember, his required minimum distributions kick in, and we requested not to go over his 22% tax bracket. So therefore, we have to reduce the amount of conversion in these years going out. But you see here, what's the effect? This is John's pre-tax IRA column right here. This is his after-tax Roth column. And we see in this column, it's getting smaller and smaller. And in his Roth column, it's getting bigger and bigger. And that's a good thing. We want to get those dollars each and every year out of his pre-tax column into his after-tax column. So let's see how his balance sheet looks at age 90. So here we see the results that at John Sample's age 90, we have in his tax-free account balance, his Roth IRA, $2.2 million. And this would not be here as an asset class if it were not for the Roth conversion program. So that's after-tax dollars that he could leave to his heirs, income tax-free. And there's another bonus. If your heirs choose, and they don't need the money right away, they can open an inherited Roth IRA and roll over this $2.2 million into an inherited Roth IRA in their name and keep that growing income tax-free for an additional 10 years before taking it out. And at that final 10th year, when they're required to take it out, that comes out income tax-free as well. And that is a very powerful way to leverage the Roth conversion program. So I'd like to extend an offer to you to contact my office and find out if an IRA conversion may be beneficial to you or not. We'll run the scenarios based on your situation, your goals, and objectives. And if so, I'll show you how to put into action a multi-year IRA conversion plan that's customized just for you. Thank you very much.